everyone, and welcome to the 40,000 subscriber Q&A special here on the Seri Pixel Biology channel. And you guys are probably going, what the heck, Seri? Where are we? What is this? Well, this is Plant Tycoon, and I love this game. And if you guys have been around on the channel for a long time, then you may remember our In the Greenhouse series where I used to play Plant Tycoon and answer your guys' random questions or just ramble about something that was on my mind. It was a really amazing series, and I remember it as being one of the most special times on the channel of really being able to bond with you guys when we were still a much smaller community and being able to exchange stories and you guys really getting to know more about me. And it was really fun, and I love Plant Tycoon. It is one of the games made by Last Day of Work. You guys may recognize them as the creators of the Virtual Villagers or the Virtual Families games. Fish Tycoon is another one of their games. All of those are things that I want to one day let's play. So that's kind of, it rhymes. I want to one day let's play. So they're on my list. I just haven't had time, and I was just really missing Plant Tycoon and thought, what a better time to bring it back than for the 40,000 subscriber Q&A special, which I'm still kind of in shock. It's like, oh my gosh. Our community has grown so much, you guys, and it's grown so much. So I'm going to be answering the questions that you guys left on the last community update vlog, New Year, New Questions. That was the title of the vlog, and answering those, and we have quite a few to go through while I play Plant Tycoon. So don't worry too much about it. Plant Tycoon is really laid back. Basically, I'm going to be raising a bunch of plants. You don't have to think too hard about it. It's going to be awesome. I'm just going to get the settings to where we need them to be. And that should be good. We're going to go ahead and play. We're going to be Seri. Yay! There we go. And it's just going to tell us that we're going off to build a greenhouse that is based off of the mini magic seeds and plants that are from this island of Isola. All right, we're in Plant Tycoon. We're going to start with some little seedlings and things like that. Like I said, you guys just sit back, relax. You don't need to worry about anything. Probably we're not even going to see anything bud about this time. I'm just going to have to sit and watch everybody patiently myself while I go ahead and catch butterflies. So let's dive into the questions. And there were some really fun questions. Oh, look, it's a little dragonfly. Oh, we got it. Yay! And he's added to our collection. But let's dive into the questions that you guys left, because I love Q&As. Just in case you guys didn't know that about me, I really love vlogs of YouTubers who are also gamers who I like watching. Basically, if I like watching a YouTuber, and I watch a lot of YouTubers, mostly, in fact, all of them are gamers. But I love the Q&A specials, and I love the vlogs, and I love learning more about them. And my rule of thumb for growing my channel has always been to do what I love seeing. And it has been immensely successful in that it has brought so much joy to my life. And there's a beetle, yes! It has brought so much joy to my life, and I have been so proud and so happy to see how many of you guys are so happy with the community that we've built. That really kind of blows my mind. So let's go ahead and, like I keep saying, dive into the questions. The first one here is from Lane, and Lane asks, what is your favorite animal? And my favorite animal, I get that question a lot. My favorite animal right now is honestly birds. I'm really into birds lately, especially my finches. I love Mongolian finches. I used to be a huge cat person, so if you had asked me that like a few years ago, I would have been like, I'm a cat person, 110%. I only want cats. I want 100 million cats. And as time has gone on, now I'm just really into birds and their immense variety and how absolutely amazing they are. Just how many birds there are. Like, I'm watching birds. There's a little Carolina wren. Oh, I'm looking at him right now. And he is sitting inside of the rim of the bird feeder, just picking out on the bird seeds that we have on the deck. And I absolutely love that kind of stuff. It just charms me. I just have fallen in love with birds, and it's really unexpected because I wasn't really into them when I was a kid. My mom actually was really into birds. She had a Quaker parrot that was so mean. It was a rescue Quaker parrot named Twinkle, and Twinkle was mean as snot and would try to like peck out our eyes. Like any of the kids, when we ran into Twinkle, she would just come at you. She would try to like peck your eyes out. You did not want to mess with her. You didn't want to be near her. She wasn't a nice bird, but she loved my mom. And if you had told me back then that I would be really into birds, I would have been like, you're nutter butters. I don't like birds. They're really nasty. They're really mean. But I really do like birds now. I'm actually super into birds. So yeah, I would say my favorite animal, probably just any species of bird. almost any. Like I love the sage grouse a lot because I think it looks really awesome, and I love its name for secret reasons that some of you guys know. And let me see, what else do I like? I really, really love woodpeckers. They're just very charming tree creepers, but the Carolina wren is probably my favorite. So pretty much birds. Like I could rattle off a huge list of bird names, and that would be what I'm really into right now. Let me think. Anything else? Nope. Oh, there was a little spider. Darn, I missed him. I love this game so much. All right, let me just set this up. I'm pollinating the plants because it will help grow new plant varieties, and they will be producing seeds pretty soon so we can continue. Oh, there's a little bug. Got him. There we go. And he added to our collection. Wonderful. I really need to pick a game I don't get quite so addicted to if I actually want to be able to focus while all this is going on. All right. Okay, didn't catch that one either. But let me think, what else do I really, really love? I think that about covers it. Pretty much birds. I'm just super into birds right now and super excited to hopefully one day be able to get more vlogs where I show you guys the birds that show up. Like I'm looking at seagulls. I don't know why we have seagulls. We don't live near the ocean, but we've got a ton of seagulls that are just hanging out on the lake. And you guys have actually seen those in specimen Saturdays and vlogs in the past. All right, moving on. Lane also asks, if you could add any animal into zoo crafting, what would it be? And I'm going to have to say right now, it would probably be maybe otters. Because I just am really, or beavers, otters or beavers. I'm working on a lot of waterways because we're doing the lily projects right now. And that just makes me think about how I would love to have like some otters or some beavers in zoo crafting. So those guys, giraffes. I already have my Gouldian finches thanks to Pavo. Crested geckos, little small reptiles I would love to add in. There's a huge list, and we are trying to work on stuff like that in the background with just trying to find somebody who could even create those things and make them work with all of our mods. So that's, you know, I can't make any promises, but that is something that we're trying to do. All right. And then also Lane asks, does your family ever watch your videos? And yes, they do. My niece watches my videos a lot. She is 6 years old, so she's kind of in a really good age range for the majority of my videos. I accidentally kind of ended up becoming a content creator for an audience of mostly younger kids, and that just kind of happened by accident. There's a lot of adults involved too. I've never purposely targeted like little kids except for like a few series that I do, mostly with the app games. But yeah, there's quite a few things that mostly kids seem to love, and my niece loves watching my videos, so she'll just watch them over and over and over and over again at my sister's house. And so my sister and my mom will often tell me that it's really confusing because they think that I'm like in the other room, even though they know I'm not there. I'm on the other side of the country. Or like sometimes they're like, oh, I don't really think to call you because I'm always hearing your voice anyway. And I thought that was really funny. But other than that, I think that's the only, I think my niece and my cousins, my two young cousins, are the only ones who really watch my videos a lot, because not many of my family members are into video games except my brother. My younger brother, like everybody plays video games, but like being really into video games, like Let's Play watching really into them, probably only one of my two younger brothers. And he is super into like Final Fantasy and Nintendo sort of stuff. And unfortunately, I can't do Nintendo on my channel safely yet. So I don't have that avenue for him to want to come and watch, but they know I do it. My whole family knows I'm a Let's Player. They're really proud of me. They're really surprised. They really think it's a cool new environment, a cool new thing that's happening. So yeah, thank you, Lane. All right, moving on. John asked, I hear you're a fan of anime. Are you a true fan of any sort? There are many animes out there. What's your favorite? I have been watching anime for so long, since before some of you were probably even born. I'm not even joking about that. I've been watching anime, Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z on Cartoon Network when I was like 10. I don't know, 16, 17, I guess it'd be 17 years ago. Maybe, yeah, for almost 20 years, I've been watching anime, like in one form or another. Sailor Moon was my very, very first anime, and I loved it because they were fighters. The Sailor Scouts were actually fighters. They actually did stuff. And yet, that didn't mean that there couldn't be romance. They couldn't like music. They couldn't like jewelry. It was a really great blend for me at a young age of like oh, there we go. Now we've got some seeds popping up. It was a really great blend for me at just the right age for being like this group of like fighting females who could do all of these cool things, but also being but also being really pretty, like not them physically, the art style was so pretty. And I remember when I first started watching anime, I loved it because it actually had progression. There was a storyline. That was not something that was really done in American cartoons at the time. And that happens so much more often, like Steven Universe storyline. Totally storyline. There's very few filler episodes. Gravity Falls, those kinds of things didn't really happen when like 20 years ago when they were making cartoons. It would be interchangeable cartoons. Like there was no story. It just kind of all existed in the same world. And it was so boring, you guys. So in Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z, even though Dragon Ball Z moves at a glacial pace, horribly glacial, 5 minutes, they're going to be here and the fight begins in 5 minutes. And 50 episodes later, they're going to be here in 3 minutes. Like that's Dragon Ball Z to me, even though I love it. I'm only bashing it because I love it. But yeah, it just was amazing. It was amazing to finally have something that you could watch that actually had a story. And I really loved it. So Sailor Moon was my first. But, you know, I've been all of the Inuyasha series. I've seen all of them, every single last one. I kind of want to rewatch them every now and then because that was like a special time in my teenage years. Really loved Inuyasha. Let's see. Like I just finished Beautiful Bones and that was fantastic. The animation in that was just jaw-droppingly beautiful. I enjoyed One Punch Man, but it's not really my usual style at all. It's a little bit more gory and a little bit more like, Beautiful Bones is definitely something I enjoyed much more, and it was really fantastic. So I can't wait to see more of Beautiful Bones or where it goes. I really hope they produce more seasons because that was fantastic. You can see it on Hulu right now. That's actually where I stumbled on it. I loved The Pet Girl of something. I can't remember the full title. Loved that one. There's just a whole lot of them that I've really, really enjoyed. I mean, over the years, we're talking about 20 years of watching anime and reading manga. So that's kind of why I can't just come up with a whole bunch off the top of my head. There's definitely Mushishi. Mushishi, I love 110%. Mushishi is basically everything that I am. It is beautiful art style, nature, being in tune with nature, little stories, handling the dark and the light side of life really beautifully, just gorgeous stories. Mushishi and Mushishishi. Mushishishi is probably my favorite of the two. Is definitely one of my all-time favorite animes ever. It's just fantastic. I'm trying to think what else. There's several others. I mean, we're talking about a gigantic list. I don't just casually watch anime and manga. For a time, it was like something I did all the time. And I was also studying Japanese. A lot of people are so surprised when they're like, Seri, you were learning Japanese? Yes. Yes, I took 4 years of Japanese. And unfortunately, if you don't use it, you lose a lot of it. But when I watch anime and I only watch subtitles, it really helps me get an ear for it again. And that is very, very helpful. Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna have to move on from that. That's kind of like a subject that could go on and on and on for a while. But yes, I love anime. I love manga. As far as manga goes, because I get that question a lot too, Enola Red River, still all-time favorite. Like, that's right up there. I love Seven Seeds, even though it's a little darker than I normally go for. Love So Life is adorable and cute. Like, I go all over the place. It can be serious stuff. It can be lighthearted stuff. It can be comedy stuff. I really have very broad interests. It's kind of like asking me what my favorite music is. Dang it, Butterfly! I couldn't get him. It's kind of like asking me what my favorite music is. The answer is going to be all over the place. It really is. All right, and we're going to go ahead and sell some of these seeds. All right, so let's move on. Thank you, John. Thank you so much. And you guys can mention what your favorites are down in the comments if you like. Mostly a lot of the anime and the manga I read and watch now tend to be like Pet Shop of Horrors Tokyo are some of my favorite mangas. There's a lot. Like, if I sit down and think about it, there's definitely a lot. Enola Red River, and then there's something else that I really love that's historical fiction, or like alternate fantasy fiction are definitely my favorite types of manga to read. And there's more of them. I just can't think of them off the top of my head right now. But we're moving on from that because I've hardly even hit this pile of questions. So I really need to get moving on this. So moving on. Ben Nash, P.O. Box. When is it opening? And P.O. Box is probably opening in February. I've really had to think about it because it's very, very expensive. And I need to really try to be a little bit more careful about how often and where I've been spending my money lately. Which really sucks, but it's the truth. I really do need to start using a little bit more caution with how I've been I've been spending my moolah. And on that note, like, not because I'm like in a bad place or anything, but just because I have a lot of debts and things, student loans that I need to take care of, and I have my family to think of. So asking someone to open a PO box when it's like $40-$60 a month is a lot. You know, that's my cell phone bill. And that's a lot. So that's why I'm a little hesitant. And also, when I did open my PO box last time, I would get a lot of letters from people who would be like, I want you to add in this NPC in this tree now. And they wouldn't have donated. And that's not like you have to donate to get that. It's just normally that's a reward for donators, is to donate $1, get a tree, donate $10, get an intern or an NPC. And it's not like I'm trying to grab for money, but it would be very upsetting when people would like write that in and get really mad. And then their parents would write in really angry at me because I hadn't, like, the next day that after their kid had sent the letter, made that NPC in my world. And so it would be really upsetting because you get all these angry letters or all these letters of people demanding things from you, and there would only be maybe 1 letter out of 10 where it would just be a nice exchange where I could just write back and be like, wow, thank you so much, those are really kind things that you said. But that 1 out of 10 was very special to me, and I thought really hard about it. And Darling said, don't do it. And he has a point, because it really took a lot out of me to get so many nasty messages where people were just like, because I wrote you a letter, I demand these things from you. And you really, you know, they're your community members. You really want them to be happy and you want to try to help them, but it definitely took a lot out. So that's why I haven't really opened the PO box on top of the money thing, but I think I'm going to do it again, because that 1 out of 10 people who just wrote in just to be nice, just so you could have like some friendly correspondence, not demanding things from you, or would at least be kind enough to like meet the requirements of like the donation before they demanded something from you. And it was that's totally different. Like, it's not like you have to donate. It's just, it would be really exhausting because they would want 800 million things and have put in some effort to writing the letter, and you would feel terrible because where do you find the balance when there's like 50 other piles of people like waiting for the same things? It was very overwhelming, and that's one of the reasons I haven't opened the PO box up again. So if I do, I'll have to be very, very, very stern and clear that you can't just like come up to me and start demanding like, okay, I want to be added in as an NPC just because you sent in a letter. And that makes you feel horrible. It makes me feel terrible because of course you want to try to add everybody in, but we're at 40,000 community members, guys, so there has to be some sort of place where I really have to uncomfortably sort of look down and go, no, this is my line. I'm sorry, you can't cross it for that. So it's very complicated. It's not something that I really want to talk about because it's not pleasant, but it's definitely something I think about quite a bit. So moving on from that, and there probably will still be a PO box because like I said, that 1 in 10 meant the world to me. I have a scrapbook of all of the fan art that people used to send in and the letters and names that will be in my head and my heart forever because of the letters that were sent in. So that's why I'm going to do it. Even though I'm scared of people yelling at me again and being like, why haven't you put my NPC in? Even though I like wrote a letter and all I said was, I want an NPC, and I didn't even say anything else. And like, that's why I'm going to do it, because you guys are worth it. All right, so moving on from that, because we don't really need to worry about all of those things. Ben also asked your favorite plant, and right now I'm just gonna have to say my philodendron, because it doesn't die, and right now that's like all the greenery in my house is amazing, and my philodendron is awesome because they just keep growing even though I neglect them sometimes. So there's like power to them. Really happy with them right now. And moving on from that, oh, there's a little bug coming. Somebody did ask, how do you handle bugs in your plants? And I actually don't have in my real life plants, because we have some little bugs right here that I'm trying to catch with the little net. Get in my little net. There we go. But in my real life, I don't have bugs in my plants. That's actually never been an issue for me. I think because I've always kept my indoor plants indoors. And I think that's what makes all the difference. Because the one time I did put like my umbrella plant outside, he did get bugs, and I had to go through and clean him like leaf by leaf. And every now and then I have to do it now and then because like the sappy stuff comes off, and I think that might be a bug on my umbrella plant. But I have to manually clean them. But honestly, if it's a cheap plant, I would just throw it out before it infects all of your other plants, and always keep your indoor plants indoors. But otherwise, I've never had bug issues. So that's somebody else asked that question. I remember seeing it. Let's see. My biggest achievement, that's what Ben also asks. And my biggest achievement is probably learning to be patient with myself, learning to be patient, learning to live in the now, learning mindfulness, not hating myself. That's honestly my biggest achievement, I think. The biggest and best and most beautiful thing I have ever done in my entire life is probably getting to the point where I don't hate myself. And that's honestly the honest answer. It's really, really hard. But when I was younger, like I did not like myself. I was not a happy person. I really didn't think highly of myself in any shape, way, or form. And so it means a lot now to wake up every morning. Like I'm almost in tears thinking about it. And I know there's many of you who feel this way too. To wake up every morning and just not hate myself, to love who I am for everything that I am, for all of the flaws and all of the wiggles and whatever else might be, just to cherish who I am. And that getting to this point in life is my biggest achievement, I think. And it took a long time. And it took a lot of lessons, and it took a lot of forgiving myself. It took a lot of pushing myself harder than I ever thought. There's no one way to get to that point. And I think patience and learning, even though it's super hard, to let go of other people's opinions of you. It's really interesting how not hating yourself and getting away from other people's opinions of you are hand in hand. So just remember that when it comes to that. So that's my biggest achievement. I really think so. Not hating myself, because once you take away that giant pile of self-doubt and the lack of self-confidence, you actually open up the world for being able to share so much love and joy with people. And when you are so busy hating yourself, you surround yourself in this super high wall that's really hard to reach past, to give people who you love with all your heart the love and the energy that they deserve. It's so difficult. You can't really put joy and energy and love and happiness out there into the world when you're so busy being trapped in by this giant wall surrounding you of just hating yourself. So that is my biggest achievement. So on that serious note, moving on to a lighter hearted one, favorite apple related dessert, apple pie, 100%. I'm actually debating between that and oatmeal pecan cookies. Oh, they're so yummy. Oatmeal pecan chocolate chip cookies for my birthday dinner. So we're still debating between those things. My favorite food is probably Thai food. It used to be sushi. Oh my gosh. I loved sushi when I was younger. And before I went vegan, sushi was my all-time favorite thing. Also queso and chips. And I love burritos. I love chipotle. Chipotle is probably my quick, easy favorite food. I do like Thai. I think I like chipotle more than Thai, to be honest, because I love rice and beans. I love those kinds of dishes. I also love the cinnamon apple Cheerios because they're gluten-free and they're vegan, so I really love those. And apples. I love cherries. Oh, watermelon. So there's a lot of foods I love. So when people are like, you're vegan and you try to be gluten-free? I'm not always gluten-free, but most of the time I am. And they're like, what do you eat? I'm like, oh, there's so much. There really is so much out there. So yes, those are some of my favorite foods. I can't wait for watermelon to come back in season. And my favorite constellation, and I'm just going to have to say the Big Dipper because I really don't know any constellations. If push came to shove, I could come up with a whole bunch of them, but that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head, so it's my favorite right now. All right, so we're really rambling. I might have to break this up into parts, but I'm going to see how many we can get through really quickly. Just a Silly Girl says she would love to see my vlog channel revived. I love it. I'm thinking about reviving it too. I'm actually thinking about keeping this greenhouse series going over there. So those of you guys who have made it this far, what do you think? Do you enjoy these kinds of rambles? Do you enjoy just being able to ask questions and have me answer? I've lived through a lot. I know I always put the cheerful, happy Seri out there for you guys to see, but I have lived through a lot, and maybe I have some nuggets of knowledge, something that I can share with you guys that make you feel a little bit tiny less alone, give you an idea of where you want to go in your life, some inspiration, or just a nice voice to listen to. I love listening to people's vlogs. So if you guys like this kind of stuff, please let me know in the comments. That is really what helps me determine if I have the ability to put the energy and the time into it when there's so much to do. So if you like these, do you want them on the main channel, or would you like them over on the vlog channel where they could be mixed in with more just snippets of nature that I see outside, where they could be mixed in with just other rambles or other vlogs or cooking vegan meals? I'm really thinking about bringing the vlog channel back that way. And Darling and I actually want to do a little side series in the vlog channel where we would go around and pick up trash in our park and make sure that it was clean, like call it like a bag a day or something, where we'd fill up at least a bag of trash a day when we visit our park and just see what results can happen. And I know that that really inspired people to clean up when I was cleaning up the secret garden place that I was doing on the greenhouse, or on it's called the Greenhouse, my vlog channel. You can find a link to it on the main channel page, series Greenhouse, in the friends section of the like YouTube links. And so yeah, do you guys want to see that? Do you guys want to see it on the main? Do you want to see more of this on the main channel, or would you want to see it on the vlog channel where it could be a little bit more laid back and kind of set apart from all of the games? So let me know. All right. And Just a Silly Girl also asked, does it stay green where you are in North Carolina all year? And pretty much it doesn't stay green like all of the plants are always green. A ton of the trees have no leaves, but there's a lot of pine trees and a lot of other trees that have needles, and so they stay green pretty much year round. Also, often people will see the inside of my house, which we keep at a good temperature for the geckos and the birds and ourselves, and is full of plants. So it's very, very green in here. Yay! All right. So Bella James asks, how can I send you fan art, but I don't know how, and please tell me. And that would be either to, right now, my Facebook, my Twitter, or my email. And you can find all of those things except the email in the video description. And my email is seriously with 3 eyes @gmail.com. You can find it on the about section of the main channel page. So if you're ever trying to look for a YouTuber's email and see if they have a public one that they're sharing for business inquiries or maybe fan art and things like that, you go to their channel, and then you go to the about section, and then you look, and there's usually an email there. So that's the one you can use. And like I mentioned, I'm planning on opening the P.O. box. I reserve the right to take that back, because 9 out of 10 people just making demands of you and being kind of snitty at you and sending you angry letters can really throw you off. But if I do open the P.O. box, you can also send it there, and I'll have a big announcement video when that happens. Fluffy Pancakes asks, since when have you had a fascination with wildlife? And they were worrying that that question might be too deep. And honestly, the answer is I always have. My mom says ever since I was a tiny baby, I would be dragging the World Wildlife Fund books, like with the panda and all of the polar bears and everything out of the bookshelf and wanting to look at them. So it has just been a lifelong fascination. I think because I was the firstborn and my parents had all the energy in the world before, the rest of my siblings came along. They took me to zoos a lot. They read to me a lot. I grew up around a lot of animals. My mom grew up around a lot of animals. So I think that was kind of it. Just I was introduced to a ton of animals. My parents are not very outdoorsy people. My dad used to surf a lot and my mom used to bike a lot. But by the time they had me, that wasn't really part of their lifestyle anymore. So it wasn't like I had really super athletic parents, or like we went out to parks every weekend growing up, because that didn't happen. I just have always loved plants and nature and animals, and I've loved studying them, and I've loved just being aware of them, being mindful when I'm going on my walks of what's going on around me, because I think I get a lot more joy out of life in the world as a result. Because a lot of people are just, they go on their walks and they're like, I don't see anything. And I'm like, did you see that kingfisher? Did you see that cool tree? Did you see that cool mushroom? And they just weren't paying attention, and they're shocked. They're like, whoa, there were actually things there. So yeah, let's see. Do I have any extra room? I do have extra room for seeds. Sweet. All right, I'm going to pull these over here. But yeah, it's just been a lifelong fascination with wildlife, honestly. And I'm really grateful for it. I'm really, really grateful for it. Dang it, missed that bug. And, my parents didn't really go out of their way to encourage it or anything. I don't want to say oh, my parents just weren't they were super supportive of me, but it's not like they were dragging me to parks either. So a lot of people will often send me messages and they feel super discouraged because they don't live near a park or anything like that. And you really don't have to really just embrace a love of the natural world. It's just wherever you can find it, and you just encourage it and grow it. And over time, hopefully you can go on even bigger adventures and see even cooler things. So there you go. Let's see. More questions. Numix asks, what's your favorite game? And my favorite game is probably the Sims series still, because there's so many stories that you can tell with it, and I love telling stories. But I love Plant Tycoon, so I'm really happy to be back here. But I really love the entire Sims series, anything Sims, because it's a storytelling tool to the max, and it has so much potential. And I love the collecting bits in like Sims 3, especially the collecting bits in Sims 3. Sims 4 is fun. Basically, anything that lets me tell a story and lets me get attached to the characters. And for me, that's the Sims series. Just, I'm a diehard Simmer underneath the surface. My channel is Seri Sims because I started with Sims. Otherwise, I really love Slime Rancher. I'm playing a lot of it right now. I love Plant Tycoon. I love Harvest Moon and Rune Factory games because they gave a sense of peace and joy to my life that I really, really needed when I was a teenager and younger. And they still give me that now, but they don't have as much open-endedness to them as the Sims do, so that's why Sims comes out on top. And if I could create any kind of game, I would create kind of like a Rune Factory Sims hybrid with maybe Pokemon. So there's like that many creatures and plants and things, push them all together. I actually used to run a roleplay forum that did that where it was like Rune Factory and Pokemon and so many things all smushed together in an original world. But that would be the kind of game I would want. Something sandboxy with characters, relationships, legacies, collecting things, animals, caretaking, maybe jobs you could do. That would be my love. So you see me create those quite often in how I set up Pokemon Ranger. You see me create those in how I set up all of my other games. Everybody's complaining about my stuff being too expensive. Fine, I guess I'm just gonna have to sell these for dirt cheap. All right, there we go. And let's see, Rise, hello Rise, asks, how do you see your viewers and subscribers? And that's a pretty deep question and probably a good one to end this phase of the Q&A system. It looks like we're going to have a multi-part Q&A, it seems. But how do I see my viewers and subscribers? That's a really... I have a lot of answers to that, and they may not make sense on the surface, but I'm just going to say it straight up. Friends, customers, my lifeblood, confusing, like just to use a few words to describe it. Without you guys, I wouldn't be who I am. We wouldn't be the pixel biology community. I wouldn't have an audience to be able to share my stories with. I wouldn't even be able to share as many stories as I do, because without you guys being here, viewing things, without your guys' support, without you watching the videos and supporting me through watching the ads or like being a Patreon or donating or any of those things, I physically couldn't do this because it takes up so much of my day. I record for hours every single day till my voice is almost gone. And I couldn't do that if I had to work a different job and use all of my energy doing that. So the stories are here because of you, because you are taking this moment to listen, to sit down, to share the experiences together. So when I think about that, when I think about how there's so many people out there where often it's just them, just one person and the screen and me. And we share that unique relationship where it feels like it's just them and I, even though we know there's thousands of others sharing the same experiences. It's really special when it feels like it's just you and them. So on the one hand, you feel like it's this tidal wave of people supporting you, and you don't really know why they're here. And you're just worried about making sure as many of them can have a good time and maybe learn something as possible while they're here. And on the other hand, it feels like you have this special bond with every single person, because most of the people watch just by themselves, and I watch just by myself, Let's Plays. And when you do it like that, you feel like you have a friend in the room with you. And I remember watching Let's Plays when I would be really lonely, and before I even met Darling, and I really wasn't sure about myself. And it meant so much when I was alone at home to have someone else's voice happy and telling me a story. And I have messages from people who are super depressed, who are older than me or my age or younger than me. And it's my voice and the stories that I tell that can make them feel better and happier. And that takes your breath away. That just takes your breath away. It really does. So that's what I think about when I think about my subscribers, the fact that I could not be here without your guys' support. That all you really have to do to support is just watch the videos and let the ads roll, or have YouTube Red, or just share word of mouth, or Patreon, or donate, or anything. And any of those things make it so that the stories exist. So it's really scary, because on the one hand, it's like partly my responsibility, hugely my responsibility to record and get it all done. But the reality is I couldn't do it at all without you. So that's what I mean when I said lifeblood. And like, I'm going to cry if I think about it. I've cried so many times before talking about it. But without you guys, I wouldn't have the roof over my head. Without the viewing, I wouldn't pay my rent. I wouldn't have the money to pay my rent. I wouldn't be able to take care of my parents when my mom was desperately sick a few months ago. I wouldn't have had the money in my hands. Just every scrap I gathered up and gave to her came from YouTube. And that's what gave her the medicine to recover and get better in a very, very scary time where we really didn't know what was going to happen to her. And that's how important you guys are. And at the same time, you have to look out at the whole community. And it's so hard. That's what I meant by the P.O. Box conversation earlier. It's so hard because you just want to embrace every single person. And even though you don't know them, even though most of them are strangers to you, in fact, of course, most of them would be strangers to me at this point, you just want them to be happy. You want the relationship that they have with you watching your stuff to be a special one. And you want to do your best by them. And then you also have to think about the entire community and finding that balance, I think, and being aware of that balance and sensitive to it and caring about that balance, I think is the mark of a good YouTuber. And I'm not trying to say I'm a good YouTuber, but I do think that that balance is what makes somebody a good one. Where you acknowledge the fact that without the majority, you wouldn't be able to get anything done. And sometimes you have to do things along the will of what the majority wants. And you also take into balance the individual relationship that each viewer has with watching your videos. So that's probably a little confusing for those of you guys who aren't YouTubers to try to explain this phenomenally confusing, unique, special relationship that we all have together. But there's that. That's how I view you guys. Just a little tip of it. So it's like the community is my shadow. Does that make sense? You're always with me in all of my thoughts and all of my decisions. And when I decide to go to bed on time so I can wake up early enough to record more, you guys are always with me. And seeing something cool and whipping out my phone really quickly to get a video of it because I need to share this awesome pileated woodpecker with you because this is so cool and I want you guys to learn about the pileated woodpecker. And thinking about getting the vlog channel up so that I can share my adventure of traveling across the country to my sister's wedding with you guys. You guys are always in my life. And it's such a unique relationship because I know for most of you, I'm only like a minute's entertainment, like a few minutes entertainment in the afternoon. And yet for me, you guys are my shadow. You're always in my waking thoughts. You know what I mean? And I just hope whatever that means for you guys, I can make it special. So there's that. I don't think this little one's going to sell well because he's just too many like branches, not enough cool stuff. And I have rambled on for a very long time now, and I have barely even scratched the surface of the questions. So I'm gonna have to just go ahead and call it here. Normally I would try to go faster, but you know what, you guys, that's what these little rambly things are for. These Q&As are meant to go at our own pace and really be able to share stories with you. And I have missed them so much. Now that I'm doing it again, now that I'm back here in Plant Tycoon, I've missed it so much. So if you guys have more questions, you can go ahead and leave them. I think for now, I'm just going to keep this series on the main channel just for a little bit until I at least get through the 40,000 subscriber questions, and I'll answer more next time. Well, I'll finish up the ones that Rise actually asked me first, and then I will answer more next time because there's still more after that. So I really need to learn to talk a little bit faster. Oh gosh. All right, let's get these guys planted too. They're good over here. Rise also asked, what is Darling's favorite color? Darling is my boyfriend who goes by the codename Darling. Codename Darling. Because he is also a professor and he's applying to PhD programs, yada yada. I just don't want to tie his professional life into my professional life when I'm a YouTuber and I make videos. So I want him to be able to just keep his name his for now. But his favorite color is the same as mine, green and blue. We have the same favorite colors. And Rise finally asks, if you could have any animal as a pet, what would you have? And if it was right now, like in my current living situation, it would be a guinea pig. because it would fit in our apartment, and we would be able to take care of it easily, and we could feed it all of our scraps from our vegan cooking that we do, and it would be easy to give to somebody to watch while we go and travel. So that would be what I would want to get, is a guinea pig. But if I could have any animal as a pet, man, Queen Victoria's pigeon, which I absolutely love. Chickens, I really love chickens. Easter egg chickens that lay different color eggs would be awesome. Darling desperately wants a small goat. He wants a pygmy goat really, really, really badly. So maybe a goat one day. We want chickens and goats when we get older, but we don't want to have like a farm. So there's that. And really, like, I like snakes a lot, but Darling is not cool with the feeding of things to other things. So no snakes, but you know, snakes are cool. And really, like, I would have to say a guinea pig. I really miss having a guinea pig, and I would love to have a curly-haired guinea pig. So there we go, you guys. All right. Lots and lots of questions. My voice is almost gone once again. I can't wait to answer more of them, so I'm definitely going to do some more parts to this Q&A in the future. Sorry it's gone so long. Holy moly, it's gone so long. And I'm going to stop it now. So if you guys have more questions or anything else, please let me know. This is probably going to be an interesting series. Rambly, long. I apologize. But it's what it is, and that's what makes this little moment, these kinds of videos so special. So if you guys have more questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments below, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye!